This is Goku-san DBZ. Today I will be counting down the top 10 comic series of all time. And these are my picks, not... So just let me know what you think and leave me a comment what some of your favorite comic series are. Coming in at number 10 from DC. Batman Beyond. Now, personally, I'm not as big a fan of the Batman series. Now, Batman Beyond piqued my interest in the 90s, just because I liked the younger character and being, of course, taught things by the veteran Bruce Wayne. Coming in at number 9 from Dark Horse Comics. Buffy the Vampire Slayer comic series, which is actually really good and probably one of the best quality in artwork overall design of comic series. Coming in at number 8, Transformers, the comic series. Now, this is the comic series of the 1980s Transformers, not like any remake type things. Awesome comic series if you ever get a chance. If you're into G.I. Joe and stuff, you could check out the crossover comics of Transformers and G.I. Joe. Coming in at number 7, done by Top Cow. Amazing artwork design, and I really like the story and, in general, the universe of this comic series, which is Witchblade. Now, some people out there may have not heard or read Witchblade, but it's definitely a comic series I would suggest to check out if you haven't seen or heard about it. It's definitely a good one. And plus, it was a live-action series in the early millennium. Plus, of course, it was an anime, but the anime wasn't even close to the comics. Coming in at number 6, done by Marvel. The Avengers, which is a pretty good series. Overall, decent movie, but there was a way different lineup in the actual comic series, of course, of the Avengers than from the movie. Coming in at number 5, by Marvel Comics, X-Men. Any doubt that X-Men would be in the top 5? There aren't many people I know that of favorite comics that they don't like X-Men. I mean, there's so many good villains in the X-Men franchise, like Mr. Sinister, Apocalypse, Sentinel, Juggernaut, Magneto, you name it. They've got such a good lineup of villains. Coming in at number 4, by Image Comics. This was really big series in the mid to late 90s. Then it sort of died down in the new millennia. Had a live-action movie and an anime series by HBO called Spawn. And yes, Spawn, some people would ask why Spawn made it to number 4, that high up on the list. That's because Spawn is I feel, one of the more misunderstood comics. Now, Spawn is more of an anti-hero rather than a regular hero, because of his background, who he was, and who he becomes. And of course, they're discussing right now about doing a reboot, a new Spawn movie, but I'm just worried about how it's going to end up. Coming in at number 3 by Dark Horse Comics, Star Wars. Is there any doubt? I mean, there's so many awesome Star Wars comics out there, like Bloodlines, which shows a little bit more story about Boba Fett and how he comes to be, and of course things about his father Jango Fett. It's a really, plus of course Shadows of the Empire, one of the best comics series ever. Coming in at number 2, my favorite DC series of all time, which is why also I was not too thrilled about the new movie Man of Steel. And of course, no surprise, number 2 is Superman. By far, I feel one of the how shall I put this? Yes, I didn't like how he used to be so super all the time. I liked how they've more humanized him through great shows like Smallville, which, of course, people don't realize that Smallville is based on a comic. It's based on the series of Superboy comics, which is the only comic series to ever mention Lex's father, Lionel Luthor. So, definitely, I mean, not to mention, it has one of my top 3 favorite comic villains of all time, Lex Luthor, in Superman universe. I mean, you have a lot of great characters like Brainiac, Solomon Grundy, of course, which was more in the Batman universe, but did make appearances. Plus, you have Joker make appearances, of course, in the Superman universe. But coming in at number 1 by Marvel Comics, I guess it shouldn't be a surprise, Spider-Man. It was the first in the series that actually got me into comics in the first place. So I have to say thank you to Marvel, Stan Lee, and thank you to Spider-Man, Peter Parker, which has produced probably one of my all-time favorite villains, and a lot of people's one of their favorites, which actually ends up changing from a villain to an anti-hero, and that being Venom, which we won't even talk about the Spider-Man 3 movie, which is the whole reason for the Amazing Spider-Man franchise now, the whole reboot. But leave me a comment. And of course, as always, this is Goku's son DBZ. And I'm also working on a video top 10 video game franchises. So, give me ideas for top 10 lists. Anyways, I'm getting off for now, and I hope you all have a good week.